I'm not sure exactly what Chicago sports fans have deserved to get the last, 4 months of White Sox baseball, the last month of Cubs baseball, and what has now been, the last 14 games, last 13 games of straight losses for the Chicago Bears. And this is why I'm so glad you guys are giving me this time, and shout out to my lovely wife, Nicole Mancha, Mercado, on this anniversary weekend for us. But let's think about it this. You guys have done the stats. You guys talked about the story of this game. Now it's time to be honest. Now it's time to put everything on the table. We asked these guys to answer questions that we gave them after that embarrassing loss against Kansas City, when they had a chance to answer other adversity heading into that game at Arrowhead. But, okay, we saw what kind of absolute dumpster fire of a game that was. Heading into this game, you're coming back home, a get-right game against a bum-ass Denver Broncos team. And you did what you were supposed to. For 3 quarters, Justin Fields and DJ Moore were the talk of the NFL first games. They were the talk of people on social media telling us, are the Bears back? And we all put the caveat. We knew this was the Denver Broncos team, a team that let a team put up nearly 100 points on them. But still, you take care of the teams you're supposed to take care of. And what happened in this game? For 3 quarters, we saw Justin Fields play like an NFL quarterback. He doesn't have to be Justin Herbert. We're not asking him to be the MVP of the league. But for 3 quarters, the Bears were a good football team. What do good football teams take care of? Bad teams. They win against teams they're supposed to. And in the 4th quarter, when it's time for the coach to have good time management, to make the right play call, when it was on their plate, they failed this team. And we could talk about mistakes made on the field. It's a game. We know that's going to happen. All Marver and I asked for the entire training camp at the end of last season was to see progression, was to see some type of growth. And for 3 quarters against a team you're supposed to do it against, we saw it. Whether it's their star wide receiver they gave up a number 1 draft pick for, or the quarterback who's trying to prove himself, to try to get that next deal, try to put himself in that high echelons of quarterbacks. And they let him down once again. Play calling let him down once again. Let's talk about really quickly what this team has done to take care of the things they're supposed to take care of. The offensive line played all right today. Again, against a bad Denver Broncos team, we're seeing growth from Darnell, right? But we could check off the list. They did nothing to address the offensive line. What did they do for the front 7 of this Bears defense? This is a bad Denver Broncos team. How many times did they get to Russell Wilson? How many times would a sack or a tackle for a loss have changed this game? How many times have we seen it this entire season? And then Chase Claypool, a healthy scratch. This all falls on Ryan Poles and Matt Eberflus. And now we're supposed to trust them. The Bears team, who is now 0-4, who drops to this unbelievable losing streak. We're entrusting them to bring in Caleb Williams and Marvin Harrison Jr. We're entrusting them because as of right now, one of the good things Ryan Poles has done, you now have the number 1 and number 2 draft pick in the NFL. So let me ask you this, Chicago Bears fan, Chicago sports fans, my amazing colleagues around the Sports Cubicle, after watching this, what should have been an easy Sunday in the woods, like it was for the anniversary of the Mercados, how can you lose this game? And then how can I honestly critique the players where it all came down to one moment where your supervisors, the people who your ownership put in charge, let you down? And let me ask you guys something, because this is what's driving me crazy. And I've talked about this for the last few weeks. What the X factors, right? The intangibles, the things that you can't put on a stat sheet, right? And Marver, we're talking about how, say Suzuki, right? It's one mistake, one little thing happens, one inch to the left or right, and it changes your entire season. And those X factors are supposed to be mitigated or supposed to be exposed and hidden by your coaching staff. Let me ask you guys this, right? What has Matt Eberflus or Luke Getsy, anybody in this coaching staff, what have they done to elevate, to highlight any of these players' strengths? Every play that the Bears, let's say, for example, that Justin Fields touchdown, where he did that juke and jive and was coming backwards and found Khalil Herbert into the end zone, that was not a play drawn up by Luke Getsy. That was just Justin Fields being a baller. Cole Kmet was the one making adjustments on his routes. Now, the plays seem to be a little bit more cohesive, but again, you're playing against a bad Denver team, so I'm going to put part of it too. These players are just better than what Denver's defense was. But I got to ask you guys this. Looking down the barrel, and Marvin, you can correct me, but I believe it's Washington on Jeff Bezos' channel. Then it's Minnesota and Chargers-Raiders or Raiders-Chargers. you have a chance that you're not going to win any of these games. You're going to lose the next 4. And I don't think Matt Eberflus does anything and has done anything to highlight or to do anything special when he was a defensive specialist. And like you brought up, Devin, this is the guy now running the defense. So is he too now fixated or too distracted to get a hold of his offense when you're giving up 17 points? No, I'm sorry. That's happening on his watch anyway. Well, unfortunately, we weren't able to switch this game, but I want to remind everybody to make sure that they follow us all over the universe. We're on Twitter at Sports Cubicle TV. Make sure you guys check us out on YouTube if you want to see the video version of all our breakdowns and segments, interviews, and all the fun stuff. We're on YouTube at the Sports Cubicle. Just search us at Sports from the Couch for everywhere else in the universe. Of course, we're on SoundCloud and Spotify. Just search WCPT 820 or Heartland Radio Signal and look for the Sports Cubicle, as we every single week are here to break down a Chicago Bears nightmare as they fall to the Denver Broncos 28-31. Their record now going to 0-4, and they have a date on Thursday Night Football against the Washington Commanders. And Devin, I'll give it to you to bring us on home on this post game here on the Sports Cubicle with the marvelous one Dan Marver, Devin Tingle, and myself, Mike Mercado. As frustrating as it is, there were some things to look and put on the positive column, whether you're a DJ Moore fan, whether you're a Darnell Mooney fan, a Cole Kmet fan, a Justin Fields fan, to see some speed bursts from Roschon Johnson and Khalil Herbert. I think if you're somebody who believes this coaching staff was a mistake from day one, this just solidify it. I think Ryan Poles has made some good stuff, has done some bad stuff, but this is now one of the most frustrating Bears seasons I've ever been a part of, whether it's covering as somebody who does broadcasting or who is just a fan. And we're going to be here to make sure we are with each and every one of you as your therapeutic Sunday night sessions.